let's get to my article and let's talk a little bit about cannabis real estate. My article this morning: Council approved zoning changes allowing for the sale and delivery of adult use cannabis. In Tuesday's meeting, Council approved changes to the city zoning code allowing for expanded retail cannabis sales, finally acknowledging the opportunity it presents to assist in the city's economic recovery. This is here in Santa Monica, California. In the 7-hour-long meeting that was dominated by a number of undiscussed items brought over the last week, this particular item took 90 minutes, incorporating some extensive and on occasion extraneous conversation. However, the decision was a unanimous one. The first cannabis dispensary opened in the city of Santa Monica back in June, more than a year and a half after the permit was issued in October 2021, 6 years after the application was requested in December of 2017, and 26 years since medical marijuana was made legal in the state of California. Per the Santa Monica Municipal Code, only 2 dispensaries are allowed in the city, and they are limited to medical use only, which means that consumers will be required to have a doctor's recommendation to purchase products. This item hasn't been discussed in front of City Council since the June 13th meeting when A.J. Kulori, HDL's Director of Cannabis Services, a municipal consulting firm that provides guidance on cannabis business regulations, said, quote, Santa Monica's residents therefore can, and most certainly do, cross city limits to purchase adult use cannabis from LA-based businesses. During that meeting, the mayor asked, could we allow the 2 current medical dispensaries to convert to recreational dispensaries? It was mentioned then that the only existing dispensary in Santa Monica, the local cannabis company, was losing the interest of the majority of walk-in customers who, upon learning that they needed to apply for a medical card, simply leave without purchasing anything. Since we've opened, we've only had about a 20% conversion rate. I think it's closer to 10%, but you can see how far off that is. It's just people not wanting to wait. Aaron Carchillo, CEO of Calyx Peak, the parent company of the local cannabis company, told the Daily Press. The request for applications ran from December 2017 to February 2018 and saw over 21 different requests. A second dispensary, Harvest of Santa Monica, which was set to be sited on 1416 Wilshire Boulevard, was also approved in January 2022, but that hasn't materialized yet. Since this vote would allow this second outlet to open, issues pertaining to the proximity to local schools and housing, the danger to children, and even the design of labels was raised. With regard to the second business on Wilshire, it's on the 1400 block, and that is the same 1400 block, actually closer to the front door of Lincoln School than the new store. You have a Rite Aid, you have a Vons that both sell liquor, and they don't have guards like marijuana dispensaries are going to have, said Davis. So if you're worried about children from Lincoln Middle School getting access to things they are not of age to have, they can already walk into the Rite Aid or the Vons and attempt to buy liquor. They're going to have to show proof of age at the door of the cannabis dispensary, which they don't have to show at the door of the Rite Aid or the Vons. Council approved changes allowing for adult use cannabis sales and delivery of 2 medicinal cannabis retailers with active conditional use permits issued before October 10th, 2023, and approval of an interim zoning ordinance that would remove certain requirements and permit retailers within the city to deliver, cultivate, and sell adult use cannabis or cannabis products to persons 21 years of old. All right, I'm going to cut off the rest of this because it's going to get as geeky and as zony as only I would personally enjoy. But I'm going to add a little Rico Dope Dad commentary over the top of this as I end my reading of this article. So I have said, for those who've ever cared to bore themselves by listening to me for more than a second, that cannabis ultimately, with the exception of intellectual property or branding, cannabis ultimately is a real estate play. It's a niche of real estate, and at the heart of that is zoning. Zoning is to real estate like the DNA is to an organism. It lets you know what highest and best use is going to be should that organism or should that property be fully developed. And so it's not surprising to me that Santa Monica is going back to the zoning drawing board to try to figure out how to be more receptive and conducive to the businesses that are already there by not limiting them to just medical and allowing them to do adult use. HDL is not my favorite company for consulting to municipalities on cannabis policy, and even HDL is recommending that Santa Monica be a little more inclusive and allow for adult use. It's also really, really telling, and I can glean the sad little parts of this story out of the article. It talked about the number of years since adult use had passed in California, and then how long it took to get that one permit. And then after that permit was It took another year and a half to get these stores open. So it was sad to see yet again another example of the glacial pace of development progress. This is Yarrow Kubrin, High at 9 News, Monday morning.
Man, oh man, I can't get enough of all these fireworks going on in Matthew St. Germain's background right now. He's getting lit over there. He's having a celebration for Santa Monica right now because it sounds like they're going to get some adult use sales going on over there.
Or weed for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm amazed at how behind the times Santa Monica is, with the exception of the fact that like they're one of these municipalities that doesn't really need the money from cannabis. They have resort hotels, 4-star hotels. They have some smaller movie and television studios. They have so much money going in. There's so much access everywhere else. I think they're probably like doing the old NIMBY play. You know, not in my backyard. You want weed? Go to Venice. Go to Midtown.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, maybe they need to change their buses from the big blue buses to the big green buses. Maybe that.
Or the big blue bus is the only bus I would ever ride in LA. The rest of them are insane.
I mean, I wouldn't even ride the big blue bus.
The big blue's pretty nice.
I mean, you like to take a lot of risks, apparently, Matthew St. Germain. What's that, Yarrow?
Yeah, you know, we keep seeing this. We keep seeing this all up and down California, where entrenched interests that have old money just barricade and blockade cannabis. We're seeing the same thing happening in Mendocino and Humboldt. You know, all these people are like, why are they shutting down the process in Mendo and Humboldt? Well, here's the reason. The folks who control Mendo and Humboldt and Santa Monica and the majority of the coast of California are mostly people who have inherited those lands from the folks who stole them originally in the 1800s. They don't need cannabis money. They don't need tourism money. They have the money from the real estate from the land. And they really want all of the hippies out of there so they can really bring it back to how it was before the Back to the Land movement in the 60s. Same thing goes in just a slightly different fashion for Santa Monica. Those millionaires and billionaires don't care about weed. They don't want us there.
Oh, man.